Where drones are the wings and eyes people need to fly high. Nothing is hidden above the sky. Today, the internet has become a treasure trove of drone videos. So this video, we are going to talk about drone accidentally captures what no one was supposed to see. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. Ocean of waste. Up high, you might wonder what this huge pool of reddish water is. This is actually a collection of wastes, more specifically, pig waste. This cesspool was discovered by filmmaker Markov Rice while flying his drone over a hidden farm in North Carolina. Of course, many locals were disappointed by the discovery, but they weren't really surprised by the existence of the cesspool, because the smell of the pig waste was very evident across the surrounding houses. Just imagine the waste of thousands of pigs are all dumped into this big pool. So of course it's expected that this huge pool is extremely toxic. Now, this isn't really the worst thing in the situation. The waste is actually emptied from this pool into gigantic garden sprayers scattered around the farm premises. Of course, the waste is then sprayed into the wind where pellets of the waste are carried by the air. Some local residents said that because of the waste spray, you might even mistake the liquid for rain. The smell was so bad that they usually couldn't open their doors or windows. Headless moose. For several years, Chernobyl was among the deadliest places in the world. The region is still so radioactively contaminated that residents have been unable to return to their homes. However, nature is gradually reclaiming the city. The creatures that reside there tragically are not immune to the effects of the radiation. While scanning the region, this drone spotted a moose, but it soon becomes clear that this is no ordinary forest animal, that the moose seemed to have developed normally other than its head, as it is briefly observed racing over the road and into the woodland. There is only a short stump where the moose's head should be, and it appears as though its head has been completely removed. Even now, decades after the tragedy, the radiation levels at Chernobyl are having a significant impact on the local wildlife. We can only speculate as to what other malformed creatures are hidden in Chernobyl, but this headless moose is undoubtedly one of the oddest and most unsettling objects ever to be seen on camera. Fish supply. You might be confused at first when you see a huge plane dropping hundreds of fish down the lake. This drone captured the exact time the authorities in Utah were stocking the fish supply in the lakes. Yes, you heard that right. Instead of catching fish, they drop and supply them in their lakes instead. So you can say that a few times a year fish rains happen in the mountainous lakes of Utah. In fact, almost 35,000 of them are dropped by pilots into 40 to 60 lakes in just a span of a few hours. The Utah Division of Wildlife Resources does this action to quote-unquote to restock the lakes from high up the mountains. A low-flying plane carrying water with thousands of fish will fly 100 feet above the water and drop some tiny trout. You don't have to worry because the little fisheries are safe in this process, and they don't really feel pain from the 100-foot drop. The fish restocking ceremony really is a bizarre and unusual sight, but this practice has been done by the locals since the 1950s. This process is done to deposit fish and make sure that there's enough supplies in the water for the fishing enthusiast. After all, recreational fishing is well known in the area. Splash of color. There are some things that you really can't appreciate until you look at them from a different perspective. This is the tiny village of Japan in Malang in Indonesia. All the houses in this tiny village are splashed with their very own color, and these mesmerizing aerial shots show just how wonderful it looks. The vibrant colors make it look like the village is something out of a Disney movie. However, did you know that this village is a poor slum? And the village was just repainted by a group of public relations students who wanted to give some tourists a reason to visit the place. The students did so well, and they put the town's folks' interests at heart, because originally the government wanted to remove the desolate village until they proposed the idea. Now locals can sell souvenirs, open restaurants, and do some business thanks to all the visitors and tourists attracted to the town because of the vibrant splashes of color. There are many colorful houses or villages located around the world, just like Berlin, and for not saying Italy, so this town isn't the first colorful village. However, you can't deny that just by adding a splash of vibrant color, hundreds of impoverished residents were saved from eviction. Army of bats. It's not a swarm of bees or any other insect instead. This black swarm that looks like black smoke particles is actually a swarm of bats. Millions of them flying from the mountain, captured by a drone. Bats are night animals, and they're mostly active after dusk up until dawn. However, there is a chance that you might see a huge swarm of bats migrating between summer and winter habitats. These animals actually search for places with more food sources and warmer weather. While some also go to places ideal for hibernating, racing their young. You can't deny that the scene of millions of them flying in the air is a bit creepy and unnerving, especially if you don't like how they look. But there is something amazing about how organized these tiny creatures are. Insect drone. If you dreamed of getting cool gadgets as a secret agent as a kid, this is surely one of those. At first glance, this looks like an ordinary insect, but once you take a closer look, you'll realize that it's not an insect, but a drone. The US military has been allegedly developing micro-drones that resemble insects, complete with flapping wings and big googly creepy insect eyes. They're known as micro-air vehicles or MAVI, but let's just call them the bug drones. This tech will help the authorities to stealthily obtain vital information and will do an important role in surveillance missions. You have to admit that while this is a pretty cool invention, it's also a little scary. Who knows, there might come a time when it's hard for us to distinguish which is an insect and which isn't. If you think about it, nature is the best engineer. For instance, did you know that the dragonfly inspired a lot of innovators to make a drone with the same capabilities? Dragonflies are expert flyers. They can fly straight up and down, and they can hover in the air. It will take years for us to completely mimic them, but we're getting quite close. Before we move on, support us by hitting subscribe and the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. Now let's get back to our topic. Haunted house. This drone explored an abandoned house near the Klamath River, and the video looks like something out of a nightmare. This looks like a moment out of a bad dream, and it's creepy. It reminds me of those horror movies where people seek refuge in an abandoned house in the middle of nowhere that soon turns out to be haunted by ghosts and demons. I don't know about you, but if I ever see an abandoned house that looks just like this one, I'll listen to my gut and get as far away from it as soon as possible. I've seen enough horror movies to know what's going to happen next. Giant pentagram. Alright, internet sleuths, it's time to put on your thinking hats. An aerial camera managed to capture yet again another intriguing photo. This photo can be seen on Google Earth, and it's incredibly suspicious. In popular fiction, pentagrams are used as a satanic symbol. However, did you know that contrary to popular belief, this symbol isn't solely the sign of the devil? The five-pointed star symbol is revered by many cultures across the world, and many interpreted it as the symbol of unity of all things. In some religions, that means life and all things positive. But regardless of its meaning, it's quite concerning to see a giant shape etched on the ground with no explanation whatsoever of who made it and where did it even come from. Now here's the thing. This symbol was found on the southern shore of the Upper Tobol Reservoir. There are no settlements near this area, and the nearest place populated by humans is about 12 miles to the east of the symbol. The entire pentagram measures roughly 1,200 feet in diameter, and no one knows why it's in an isolated area in Kazakhstan. Many claim a satanic cult is responsible for it, but many others claim that this could be among one of the many archaeological ruins found in the area. Many ancient cemeteries, burial grounds, and settlements with some dating back to the Bronze Age can be found in the area, all relatively unexplored. What do you think is a symbol of an ancient religious group or a symbol of a satanic cult? Clown attack. One of the craziest events we have ever witnessed is captured in the following drone footage. Although the owner of the drone didn't capture a ghost when flying his drone down an alleged haunted road during the day, what he did record was just as scary. The drone notices a spooky clown standing in the center of the deserted road, and the clown pays it instant attention. The drone thankfully managed to maneuver out of the way in time to avoid being struck down by the clown missile, as he instantly goes on the defense and tries to attack it with rocks. The clown then retreats into the dense forest, emerges momentarily, and attempts to shoot the drone once more. One of the most unsettling cloud attacks we have ever witnessed occurred in this frightening encounter, and we can only guess that the terrifying clown was lying in wait to frighten unwary visitors who had come to investigate the deserted road. Cannock Chase Girl. This is one of the supernatural videos captured by a drone. This video allegedly shows one of the black-eyed children of the Cannock Chase. In this video, there's a figure wearing a white dress hidden beneath the sea of trees. Stories about children with hollow black eyes roaming around it searching for revenge are circulating around by the locals. The perpetrator, Raymond Leslie Morris, abducted and claimed the lives of 3 girls, all between the ages of 5 and 7. He was arrested in 1968 for the attempted abduction of an intended 4th victim. Years later, the gruesome stories are the only thing that's left in the Cannock Chase, as well as the alleged ghost sightings will let you judge the video yourself. Many were skeptical about the authenticity of the footage, and many believe that the ghost in the video was actually just a real person who happened to be walking on the trail. So that's it. Please like, share, and comment with your thoughts below if you like this video. Remember to subscribe to see our next video. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video.